The time has come. The time for my Time Stopper build.
Time Stopper is a Morrowind build focused mainly around the Paralyze spell. Paralyze in Morrowind freezes whoever it affects in place, so it looks kind of like you are stopping time. This is how it's supposed to look like in its final form.
There is no escape!
Let me make a blunt disclaimer here. This build is not intended to be an efficient way of dealing with enemies. It would be easier and more effective to just use Destruction at a fraction of the cost, or by using Calm and making NPCs permanently non-hostile. But we're not doing that here. Instead, I am throwing efficiency out of the window and replacing it with the Rule of Cool instead. So with that out of the way, I'll tell you how the build looks like. First, I've chosen the Ultima race because of their maximum magicka modifier and their bonus to illusion. The Bretons also have the illusion bonus, but they give less extra magicka. As for the birth sign, I've chosen the Apprentice. This build is going to use a lot of magicka from the start. Now, I am aware that the Apprentice's extra 50% weakness to magicka will make a high elf even more of a glass cannon. But there are two things to consider here. Firstly, weakness to magicka doesn't actually affect elemental spells. It affects a variety of non-health damaging effects like blind and sound, but also absorb health and damage health. I'm not sure who uses damage health, but absorb health is mainly used by vampires, so this class would have to avoid those. Vampires are actually already the weakness of this class because of their immunity to paralysis, so if you actually end up using this shitty class, make sure to not go near them until you've leveled up a bit. But more importantly, fire, frost, shock and poison are not affected by weakness to magicka, so the extra vulnerability is not quite as bad as it might have been in Oblivion. But we do need a lot of magicka, and the Atronach would be, in my opinion, a significantly worse choice. That's because while we need a big magicka pool, being unable to restore that magicka pool by resting is a bad idea here. The Atronach is fine at the start of the game if you're just using Destruction, because the starting Destruction spells are not actually very expensive. Firebite is about 10 magicka, and our standard Restore Magicka potion that you can get for free from the Mages Guild restores 50 magicka. That's enough for 5 casts. Even if you use a slightly more expensive on-target Destruction spell, the economy is not so bad here. Now, the Paralyze spell I'll be using, the Destruction spell I'll need, and the Summoning spell are all very expensive. With the Apprentice it's fine. You kill a few enemies and then you rest to restore your magicka. But if you're using the Atronach burst sign, you can't do that. You can either return to a shrine to refill your magicka, or drink a bunch of potions to do it. It'd be annoying to have to find a shrine before finishing your dungeon. And the other option means that you'd use up your potions at a far faster rate than you would want. Use Atronach if you like with this build. However, I tested it with the Atronach first, and let's say that I don't recommend the combination. Next is Specialization. Since what I care about the most is that illusion is as high as possible, I am of course choosing magic. As for this build's favorite attributes, I've chosen Intelligence and Willpower. Of the two, I consider Willpower to be the more crucial one, because it makes spells a bit easier to cast. But Intelligence gives you a bit more magicka to work with immediately, so I think they are both important. If you want to replace either of them, feel free, just keep in mind that it may require you to use more potions if you do. And finally, skills. The most important skill is of course Illusion, since Paralyze falls under it. We've picked Altmer and Magic Specialization in order to get it as high as possible. Next is Destruction. This skill is actually very important for this build. As you know, the Willpower attribute allows you to resist paralysis, which is good. But it also allows NPCs to also resist your paralysis spells. So, in order to make sure that they don't resist it, I am going to reduce their willpower to 0 with a very nice spell of damage willpower. This spell is the only reason why destruction is a must-have, but it's a very important factor. The spell itself is fairly expensive at high magnitude, but it would be more expensive to have to cast Paralyze 3 times in order for it to work. The third skill that is important is my main damage dealer. While I am stopping time, I am having my stand killing my enemy. At least until I can cast very long duration Paralyze spells and basically just walk past enemies. Which means Conjuration, and thanks to magic specialization and the Ultimate bonus, it starts reasonably high as well. The other skills are not that important, except Alchemy. Since there's only a few restocking potions of Restore Magicka that I know of, it's a good investment to be able to make my own potions. You can choose the other skills as you like, but I'll tell you why I made my own choices. Hand to hand because most enemy protagonists fight using hand to hand, so why not? And Marksman for the throwing knives. Mysticism for teleportation, Restoration for Restore Willpower and Restore Strength and Healing, Alteration for water walking and stuff, and Athletics just so it doesn't start at 5. Truthfully, I should have put Alchemy in major skills, and one of the magic skills out of the build just so I could train it for the willpower multiplier. Do that if you prefer to improve upon what I'm showing you here. Now, in the last part I'll tell you a few things for after the build is created. First, get Mentor's Ring as soon as possible, because it gives a boost to both intelligence and willpower. Flynn and Fortify willpower potions are good because they can ensure you can cast things. You get the Fortify potions for free from the Mages Guild, and Flynn can generally be found in a lot of places. Next, if you get your hands on some enchanted item with a summon effect, that'd be great to conserve some magicka in your battles. I actually stumbled upon a belt with summon Scamp in one of the Balmora boxes, which I am very happy about. Items with Fortify Magicka or something like the Mantle of Woe would be good too, but I myself won't go out of my way to get them. Before I start doing the expansions, I intend to make myself a constant effect item with 100% resist paralysis, just in case it gets reflected back to me. I'll also have to make a constant effect item with Restore Willpower if I'm serious about this. Okay, that's all that I can think of at the moment. By the way, since this video is related to Paralyze, I should maybe finally explain how I got that ridiculous bounty I posted on the community tab, since it's, you know, related. So I was bored and I went with my test character into the Hlalu treasury in Vivek. I cast Paralyze on everyone, unlocked the doors, and then I forced the guards to watch as I took everything from the vaults. Then I went to the Redoran and Telvanni vaults too, where I also paralyzed everyone.
And I stole their shit. Tee.
Then I stole a bunch more expensive stuff like the glass armor from Ghostgate, but basically that's how I did it. It has recently begun to dawn on me that I might be a bit of a sadist. Well, what can you do? Well, whatever. If you're interested in seeing how my Time Stopper build playthrough goes, let me know. No, seriously, let me know, I mean it. If you want to see videos on that, tell me. I don't want to post it and then get like 50 views or something. It would be like an after action report or something. I'm not doing live commentary because I suck at it, but I did record my gameplay so far. Thanks for watching.